d'entre vous tous que j'ai pu rencontrer au cours de ces 48 heures. Je trouve d'ailleurs par ailleurs que les projets qui ont été présentés
well, I usually call him Tuzu. I never use his family name, but Tuzu. Tuzu is the project manager at TF261. And I would like to also invite Romy Adriana Rusu. I hope that's your name, please. Thank you.
Voilà. Et enfin, j'appelle...
And finally, I would like to invite Henry Duf, who is the Deputy Country Representative of UNDP Madagascar.
Et donc nous allons maintenant vous annoncer la suite.
So allow me to introduce very quickly what is on the schedule for this closing ceremony. And once again, thank you for still being with us after that wonderful lunch. Thank you. A very good afternoon to everyone, and once again, thank you very much. We were very much honored to welcome so many people during this forum of sustainable development in the Indian Ocean. Not only because we realized that fighting global warming must involve all relevant stakeholders in the Indian Ocean. And before I give the floor to Natasha, who has actively contributed to the organization of this forum, she has tirelessly worked in organizing this event. And really we want to hear her feedback about this forum. This is very important for us, but also to talk about the next steps, or start to talk about the next steps of this forum, especially from the point of view of the UNDP. Thank you very much, Tuzu. And as most of you feel, I also feel on this Saturday afternoon in Tana, a sunny day, and the room is still very much filled, and I do very much appreciate this sign of commitment from each and every one of you. Well, as I said yesterday, and I would like to repeat this once again today, in a way we have done a lot of work for the success of this forum, but somehow we are just really starting the work from this afternoon and tomorrow. And really it's about the project, and I completely agree that we have some really high quality projects yesterday, this morning, especially in the two groups, climate change and carbon. I missed out the discussion from the Blue Economy Group, but really these are projects that bring us to think about what lie ahead of us, projects which actually make us wonder what would be the possibility of consolidating efforts, consolidating resources, and it's very encouraging because once again, this is why we wanted to organize this forum to have this type of discussion, and to bring you back to what lie ahead of us and also the involvement of UNDP. For us, obviously, even though I would have hoped to say that each project would be interesting for us with regard to funding them. Unfortunately, we don't have all the resources available to fund all the projects. So what we need to do now is to see to what extent, given the resources available to us, which and also given the focus of the project and the aligning of those projects with what we do, identify what project would be best for us to support, and also see which project can be put online, either funded by project or by other donors. We did a lot of discussions, and we talked a lot about SDGs in the past 2 days, and we are fully committed in those sustainable development goals, and we will always be very much involved when we are talking about a project that seeks to achieve a few SDGs or all 17 SDGs. So we are going to closely monitor those projects which will be selected for support.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Natasha, for this commitment to continue to support projects focused on sustainable development, and and thank you for being a part of those entities, organizations who will be providing support, technical support to the selected projects. Allow me to also note here that this forum is also made possible thanks to the collaboration of various stakeholders, key private sector players, public entities. We have, for example, investors, project promoters, and during the sessions that we had this morning, each one of these group of stakeholders have actually shown interest in the different projects which will be deployed and developed around the 3 focus areas. And on this, I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Romia Denarsu, or Romy. I think we can, be a bit more informal, and she can talk about the kinds of supports, and especially for us, what would be the next steps, because each one of us will be, in a way or another, involved in those projects. The private sectors, and the financiers, civil society organizations, experts, etc. So basically, from now on, what lies ahead of us and how we go about those future endeavors. So please, my husband is in the room, and if you could address me as madam, because I don't think he would be too happy if you just call me by my first name. So I will be speaking on behalf of my 2 roles here as the member of the Private Sector Association in Madagascar, and also as a member of TF 261. So as a player in Malagasy economic sector, it is very important to note that even though projects here are carried by major institutions and major project promoters, these projects must involve in their design and in their ability to create wealth, SMEs and small value chains that are present in Madagascar, specifically around the agribusiness projects on the eastern part of Madagascar. One of the projects which have been selected, this project will involve women through harvesting activities, will also benefit these women in terms of training, also in terms of fruit processing. And I believe that project will also encourage entrepreneurship of young people through a job creation, through the support to various values chains. Often we have complaints about these types of forum because they are actually addressed. They are targeting projects which are a multi-million-dollar project. But here we are happy to note that we are also targeting those projects which can carry and involve various players of the Malagasy sector all the way down to the local level. I see, for example, in the room Sesam, with which we are going to sign a protocol of a memorandum of understanding for the training of women on specific areas where capacities are lacking. The second thing that I would like to note, and really speaking on behalf of the private sector, there are many obstacles today with regard to regulations. Just to cite one, there is, for example, the issue about the existing decree on decarbonization projects. And yet we have a decarbonization project which are quite important and which can be source of major transformation. And the private sector need to be able to count on the commitment of the government to support pilot project, which can be an engine for the change of these decrees to enable us to deploy decarbonization project and carbon sequestration project, not just with private sector, but really at the regional level beyond Madagascar. And the third point that I would like to note is about banking regulation. Banks were present with us and who are actually involved in the project, and so it is really high time that we create a conducive environment for these banks, and especially for the Central Bank of Madagascar, who was also very much involved in the discussion to create specific and conducive banking products for these specific impact projects. And also for the private sector, it is very important, given the ambitions that we have with this project, to build this project on a very solid foundation with regard to project management. And I see that PMI is still in the room, and we build with PMI a real development program, capacity building program, certification program, and project management program. And other 30 projects which were presented this morning, I would like to say that 30% of the project have requested support from PMI for support in their management. Project management quality plays a key role for the sustainability of those projects. And then I will add one last point, and then I will ask a question to my friend Harry Diouf. This morning we have received 30 project sheets. And the good news is not a single project has not received a technical or financial support. All projects have received support. All projects are in the pipeline for their deployment. We cannot tell you exactly how this timeline will look like, but for sure we are going to start working on Monday, and we will get back to the project owners to build with them the next step. Each project will have its specific design, and our goal is by the end of 2022 to see 4 to 5 projects taking off, not just Malagasy project, but Indian Ocean projects. And this is what I wanted to say. We are very happy with the interest shown. And the question that I would like to ask Henry, especially with regard to the UNDP's involvement, what are the tools that we could already look into with regard to technical and financial support? Should we also think of more relevant and appropriate tools in the future? Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Romy. I would like to first thank the team, the UNDP team, for the hard work in organizing this forum, this conference. I see my colleagues from the procurement unit. I would like to ask them to stand up so that we can give them a proper stand ovation. It was quite a challenge. We put a lot of pressure on them and represented in the room. Also the Indian Ocean Commission and all the other partner organizations who have shown interests in this issue. And I think this is well, it shouldn't become as a surprise, really, because we are all fully aware that if we are to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, we have to work with the private sector, and it will be thanks to the involvement of the private sector. We need a tripartite partnership, the government, development partners, and private sectors. and international organizations. But with regard to quality and quantity, it will be with the private sector that we can make things happen. We talk about job creation, we talk about creating revenue, we talk about access to energy at such a level that would enable us to actually carry development in our region. So it is very important that we really give the private sector its right a place. And I say this to also answer your question. Following this forum, we need to set up a mechanism to support those projects that have identified, and even those projects which were not shortlisted, but to really work towards achieving the goal of this conference. The Indian Ocean Island, which are beautiful territory with communities, beautiful communities. I know personally a few of these countries in the island of the Indian Ocean. It's important for all of those countries to play the leadership role to really pave the way for achieving the SDGs. And we at the UNDP, we have received this mandate from the UN system, but it is also recognized, we are recognized for this role by the other development partners. In the sense that we bring around the table all development partners to work on issues in these various countries. And so following this forum, we'll try to continue to play the lead and once again bring everyone around the table and work on the issue of sustainable development so that we really put in motion the mechanisms to support project and also to achieve the SDGs by 2030. And at the same time, I believe it's also important for us to set up some kind of financing mechanism or facilitate access to funding. There is capacity building, and also during the different presentations, we talked about the need to really have the right capacities to promote this project in our specific countries, regulatory issues, access to data, to enable us to properly evaluate project. All of these require technical partnership, financial resources, and human resources. And we believe that only by putting in place this support mechanism, which is in turn supported by a mechanism to facilitate access to funding, that we will be at the end of the day achieve our goal. I always say that private sector people are the smartest in the world. I mean, they see ideas that are promising, but if we look into why in our countries, generally speaking, things are not changing, because we are struggling to implement these ideas, because lack of access to funding, political and regulatory frameworks in our countries need to be improved. So I think if we are able to do significant works on these areas, by 2030 we will be able to achieve our SDGs. Thank you. Another question that I wish to ask Natasha. Well, so we have noted various partners who have expressed interest: the African Development Bank, the African Union, IFAD also has voiced interest in supporting projects in the agriculture sector. So how is the UNDP going to ensure that there is proper coordination among the UN agencies so that we have an optimal allocation of funding, and also to enable the project to take off very quickly? Indeed, and thank you, Romy, for this question. This is indeed why we have been saying that we are now starting the hard work. We have managed to identify various promising projects. Each project has specific objectives, but we need to sit down then and we need to identify what partners have shared interest in supporting which project. And as Henry said, we need to have in place some kind of coordination mechanisms to enable institutions in Madagascar to first coordinate, but also the different players in the region. In this room, we are not just players who are based in Tana or in Madagascar. We also have players from all over the Indian Ocean region. And so it's really about doing a proper mapping exercise and see how we can implement or establish some tools so that the platform remains lively, especially to build on the momentum of these 2 days of conference. And so those networks will remain in play even well beyond the closing of this forum. But beyond work coordination, networking, we also need to look into financial networking. So it's really now about technical organization and to engage in some technical brainstorming based on all the points that we raised and discussed here, to develop ideas and really take the next step so that everyone can continue this discussion and this coordination work. Well, allow me also to ask you a question. I am sorry, Romy, but since, well, you are Malagasy, and this is understanding, like you preach to convert, so to speak. But you talked about the projects which will come out of this forum, which is organized in Madagascar. So yes, there are projects, as you mentioned, projects which were presented by other countries. There are projects with regional significance, but I would like to know, how are you going to, support future conferences? Because we committed to support this process by 2030. Well, allow me to answer the question with, surprise information. We already know which country is going to host the next forum, but we can't tell you here publicly. But we know for sure that we have a second edition of this forum. To address your question, I mean, there is no legitimacy to this forum if we organize it as a one-off event only in Madagascar. This is the first time that we ask we invite the private sector to come together and build a platform of action to achieve SDGs. Madagascar has its own policies in terms of achieving SDGs, and the same for Mauritius and the same for the Comoros. But when we bring together the strength of all of this private sector, we can build like a regional momentum. And this is the main purpose and the reason being for this regional forum. So from the second edition, we will have two main goals. The first is firstly to review the situation of the 30 projects which will be assessed on with regard to their economic performance, but also with regard to to what extent they have contributed to achieving SDGs. So even though we have a project that is very effective but has very little impact on SDGs, that project support will end. We cannot accept a project that is only achieving economic goals. We require the achievement by the project of the economic goals, but also of the SDGs related goals. And also from next week on, we are going to bring some correction to some projects. Maybe today we are fully convinced by the project, but maybe in 12 months we realize that sustainability is not really there for this project. So we're going to either put in place the right tools to bring the sustainability element to the project, or we are going to abandon altogether the project. So each forum will have its own assessment of the project, bring in a new portfolio of projects, so that by 2030 we are guaranteed that through technical inputs and also through specific KPI, we achieve those specific goals that we said. This is the goal of TF 261. We are going to leverage international experts. We have partners, and you have met some of those experts during this forum. And we will, hire other experts so that along the way we have all the necessary expertise to support the growth of this project. And this is very important, Henry. And then also the handing over this forum the forum will be organized in a different island every year, and each island will have its specific characteristics. Each island will choose guest countries. Madagascar has chosen Morocco and India, and we once again congratulate and thank India for really positioning themselves in supporting project, because this is really wonderful. And India, for the next 8 years, will support the project that we are going to implement. And they have also shown interest in supporting future forums. So, and as I said, each island will choose key partners from next years on. And I would like to also thank show my appreciation for the quality of the delegation, given the very short notice that we sent out, and we were worried a little bit about the delegation. But if I was just to mention one delegation, I would like to single out the delegation from Seychelles, because they come with a really wonderful woman, and I would not mention her name here. I would also like to show my appreciation for the delegation from the Comoros, led by His Excellency the Minister. They have a strategic vision, an operational vision, with regard to where they want to bring the Union of the Comoros through the project. So it's really not just a one shot, it's really in line with the Plan Émergence Comoros. So it's really like a long-term endeavor that they are embarking on. Now, Tuzo, I'd like to turn to you about a question with regard to TF261. So with the next steps with this forum, is the TF261 going to continue to play a role, and in what capacity? Well, that's a very good question, and thank you, Romy, to remind everyone in the room that TF261 is the organizer of this forum, which was held in Madagascar for the first edition. Next year, even though we plan to organize this forum in another island, and we already know which island that is, there are a few criteria which would dictate our decision to be a promoter. The first being projects need to be deployed, because it's very important. We can't just make empty promises. We need to commit to coordinate or to create coordination between technical and financial experts and donors. And so we set ourselves to work on 5 projects by the end of this year, and 10 projects at the beginning of next year. So our mandate or mission really is to duplicate these initiatives next year, and to still be the entity that will carry the forum in the Indian Ocean, in partnership, obviously, with the different partners in the other countries. When we talk about partners, we refer to UN agencies, other international organizations, the IOC, employers, organizations, Chamber of Commerce, OPACO in Mauritius. There is Business Mauritius, which really is a partner of the forum, or CAP Business Indian Ocean, also in partnership with agencies in charge of promoting investments, which were well represented during this forum. The National Agency for the Promotion of Investment in the Comoros, the Economic Development Board of Madagascar, the Economic Development Board of Mauritius. So this really is the main goal of this forum, to be working in this type of synergy and really deploy those projects over 8 years. This is an ambitious goal, but it's important, and will create a transformation, because if we just organize a first event without having in our eyesight 2030, then this forum is useless. So we need to maintain this partnership, this synergy between public, private, and donor and development organizations. Natasha said that the digital platform will remain very active, and this digital platform will play a key role. The reason being, projects are there, but this is also a platform for the networking of the different players, and this is why each one of you has a QR code. This platform will also be used for linking up with other players, because the goal of this forum is also to link you up with stakeholders who may not have discovered each other without this event. So we would really encourage you to use this platform in this manner. This is also a tool that will help you monitor the next steps of the Indian Ocean Sustainable Development Forum. You will learn about what countries will host at the next forum and what role do the partners play. So I will hand the floor back to Romy to maybe conclude this discussion, and then we will have about 10 minutes of questions and answers to also give the opportunity for everyone in the room to take the floor. Well, I don't have much to say. I don't know if the brilliant Karen can hear. I would like to ask Karen to pass the microphone around the room, because we are in the question and answer session, so that those who did not yet have the opportunity to ask their questions in plenary may do so. And also beyond this session, you can continue to ask your questions on the platform. So thank you very much to the hostesses in the room who will be making microphones available to those who wish to take the floor from the audience in the room.
S'il n'y a pas de questions, on va leur poser des questions.
Or if they don't have questions, we may have questions for them. Why not? Good afternoon, Surazanamasi. Since no one is asking to take the floor, well, allow me to be the one to start. First of all, congratulations to the organizers, to all the backers of this event. Really, bravo. I complained about one thing, because we talked a lot, and yet I understand in a forum we do have to talk a lot. And also there are two projects which have a particular significance to me. One of those projects is mine, but another is a project implemented in Anakau, piloted by UNIMA. For those who don't know, UNIMA is one of the biggest private enterprises in Madagascar, and I think it's good that these enterprises, drivers of development are involved in such initiative in Madagascar. So really, I wanted to congratulate UNIMA. Also, I do apologize for the project promoters, and because I don't remember the name of the project, but these are Mauritians who were very smart enough to bring to Mauritius the processing of vanilla from Madagascar. Instead of going to the US or Europe, we bring into our islands the processing of vanilla, and in so doing, we created added value to Malagasy vanilla in our islands. So why am I mentioning specifically these two projects? Well, the intelligence behind the networking and collaboration plays a key role, especially for us. Forgive me for using this term, for us underdeveloped, because that is the case for our country now. We are not able to really go out there and get involved with the major promoters if we don't start first with networking among our islands. So my question is, we have noted different financiers showing interest. I've been working hard on my project for 4 years now, but there is an intelligence, a type of intelligence that we don't have in Madagascar, and this may also be relevant in the other Indian Ocean islands. The capacity on fundraising. We have all the wheels in the world to have blended finance practices, banks, everyone are there. But it's a really specific profession to raise funds, to conduct international fundraising activities. And maybe this is an area that we also need to emphasize within this forum. I completely agree with everything you said, but I feel that we still have some shortcomings in this area. Well, thank you very much for asking this question, and Yes, indeed. It's important for us to give the floor to development practitioners and also to the private sector. Yes, indeed. This is what we are talking about when we are talking about financing mechanisms. We do have a lot of financing opportunities, but unfortunately, as you said, it's a specific profession really to raise funds. Well, I don't want to bring it all always back to the UNDP, but in Madagascar, we've been trying for some time now to put in place a climate facility mechanism to help private sectors in Madagascar to have access to the international finance market. This is a long-term initiative, and we're not relenting, and this is something that we will certainly continue to do. Our goal is once again to really put in place a mechanism that will tap on different financing opportunities. We talked about the Green Climate Fund, which has a facility for the private sector. They are funding private sector, the Global Environment Fund, funds by different development banks, World Bank, African Development Bank. So if we mix or blend all of those financing opportunities, these should enable the partners in our islands to have access to the resources that they need, and also to identify early on the types of financing that is suitable for them. Because indeed, depending on the type of activity, depending on the level of maturity of the project, and also depending on the financial capacity of the project owner, well, we don't have the same needs. So financing products need to also be made relevant to the projects that we have in the field. Once again, I would like to say that the project that we have noted are really good projects. These are very innovative projects, and you are the best person in the best position to develop these projects. Now it's really a matter of working together to help you access those different sources of funding. Thank you. If there is no question from the audience, I have one question. I see that ALCD Campus Sesam is represented in the audience. Could we give the floor to Cyril, please, so that he can explain what is the nature of the collaboration between IACD and Campus Sesam, and also what would the next steps of this collaboration mean for this forum? Well, thank you, Rumi, and also I would like to congratulate the organizers of this forum. IACD is an international organization. We are present in 16 countries, Asia, Middle East, and Africa region, including Madagascar. We are involved on three specific focus areas: supporting small enterprises in Tana, in Madagascar. We are supporting small micro entrepreneurs. Tibet, in Madagascar, it's very much focused on hotel. Some of you may know La Rizière, who is a partner of IACD, training staff or hotel entrepreneurs, and then education. In Madagascar, we have two programs, the CERES program in Fianarantsoa. Just to give you a clear idea, the CERES program, well, we are supporting Alphonse Norris, who was the baccalaureate graduates with the highest degree, who has received support from us. And there is also another association, POMES, that I am representing here. So we have talked with Romy, Tuzu, and Liva, and others on how we could position ourselves and provide a training to young people. I have heard yesterday that it's related to train young people on sustainable development, but it's better to not do it at all, better than not doing it at all. So we have this partnership. The Sesam program is selecting young people from all over Madagascar, young people from vulnerable households. Our friend from Sweden told us that these young people don't have the capacity to think of sustainable development. well, the kind of profile of young people that joined our program, they earn 70,000 ariari a year, and that's less than, I don't know how many cents in euro. So it's difficult indeed for those young people to think about sustainable development when they earn so little. So we are doing a lot of work with these young people. We provide them with training. We also support them with regard to specific tools to really help them engage on sustainable development issues. These are the future, and so with the ADI, with this forum, we are discussing about the development of a training program, which we hope will produce the training of a pool of somewhat 70 experts. This is the goal. Well, expert might be too strong a word, but maybe some quote-unquote experts of the Indian Ocean on issues related to sustainable development. So this is our ambition. This is what we are currently looking into with the forum, setting up this training program and establish a partnership where ICT will support hopefully this forum by 2030, so as to have these young experts who will be trained through the SISAM program. Thank you. I hope I answered your question. Yes, please. And any other questions in the room? Secretary General of the IOC, who is seated in the front. Well, this is not a question. I just want to join what the gentleman before me said about young people and sustainable development. Allow me to talk about what we have done on Reunion Island. Sustainable development can be introduced to young people as early as preschool, actually, and so two decisions were taken in our case. One is to introduce in each classroom or in each grade, in each school, at secondary school and senior high school, to have a student representative, like an eco-student representative. And from then we had one eco school representative per grade and per classroom, and this landed itself very well in the organization of schools in Reunion. And these these classroom representatives, eco classroom representatives, are represented at the board of each school, and they have to take part in defining some training programs. And we believe this is extremely important because it completely changed the whole school landscape with regard to sustainable development, biodiversity, climate change, but also citizenship, responsibility of citizens, and the contribution of citizens in the life of a school. And this has also brought parents back into the school. Just to give you an example, there is a secondary school on the eastern part of the island where they have created with their teachers gardens. They regularly plant trees in the garden of this school, and these gardens are actually managed by the parents. This school is in a rural area. This is very important because it made it easy for parents to understand the activities taking place at the school. Often parents are far away from schools, and this activity has helped address this gap. Secondly, it also opens the minds of the students on the types of jobs that they will do in the future. So all of those new jobs that they are not yet exposed to, they are there. We have helped through this activity. We have helped these young people to really conceive of these jobs, and as such, we are creating a win-win situation everywhere. We have, for example, students who are applying maths differently, or earth sciences differently. So I do believe young people are the best ambassadors. Now, about the creation of marine protected areas, or terrestrial protected areas, which are facilitated by the involvement of students, obviously with the help of some teachers. Well, we have the chance of being on islands and having the opportunity of seeing something that pupils in many countries wouldn't be able to see. For example, just to step out of your classroom in your schoolyard and to see whales offshore. It's help very children to learn. So these eco students representatives initiative have been deployed at the national level, and not long ago, the policy about teaching in the junior high schools and senior high schools, especially teachings on and around the topics of sustainable development, was defined by the Minister of Education with the help of these eco school representatives. So this is quite a simple initiative, quite a simple structure put in place, but help really achieve some significant impact. And now these young people who are young people and remain young people can have some significant impact on formulation of policies at the very national level. Thank you. Thank you very much, Secretary General of IOC. I don't know if we still have questions. Well, actually, there is a question there. And I would like to ask His Excellency, the Minister of Comoros, to maybe say some concluding comments about his expectations about this forum, and also the expectations of his delegation. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Justin Ratanael. I am here representing ISCAM school in Madagascar. So we have established a roadmap. And so the question that I have is about the platform. While waiting for the next forum, could we have some regular updates on the forum about the status of each one of the 30 projects? Thank you. Thank you for this question, sir. And this is actually what we are planning to do. All updates will be made available on the website, on the platform. You will get the latest news about the project, and you will also be able to closely monitor the development of the projects. We are going to diligently work on this, and rest assured that the platform will be regularly updated so that you can get all the information that you wish to receive about the projects. At this time, could we please give the floor, the microphone to the Minister from the Comoros? Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to take the floor during this closing ceremony. Firstly, I would like to thank all the Malagasy, all representatives of the Malagasy Authority for the organization of this forum, this first event of our Indian Ocean Islands. And I would like to also thank TF261 for the quality of the organization of this event, which, in my opinion, was flawless. And I would also want to congratulate this initiative, which places our Indian Ocean region at the heart of the climate change issue in the world, and really brings us also at the core of ongoing issues discussed in the world, issues about sustainable development. This was also an opportunity for us to identify talents among our islands, enterprises which are on the forefront, who are taking development initiatives, while also thinking about the future generation. This is really a good thing. I would like to also thank our partners, UN system, UN agencies, UNDP, and other agencies for supporting this initiative. On behalf of the Comorian delegation, we we have taken quite a lot of commitment during this forum, and we hope and we are going to diligently work on this so that these are not just decisions, these are put on the table each time we have this forum on sustainable development in the Indian Ocean. I would like to also appreciate the presence of the private sector, their involvement in the presentation of project, and I am sure that in future years the ripple effect caused by this event will also create further momentum for a stronger impacts of all our initiatives. Once again, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you to TF261, and thank you to the Malagasy government. Thank you. Thank you, Minister, for these concluding words. Just quickly to remind you that everyone is invited to the gala dinner that starts at 7:30 here at Novotel. We still have quite a very rich program. And so everyone is invited to this. Again, thank you very much, and talk to you soon. And also, we also have a coffee break ready in this room, like in a few minutes. Thank you.
magicienne, et je t'explique, c'est une équipe de pipistes.
Félicitations, mesdames.
Ah. Est-ce que l'équipe de TF261 peut monter sur scène, s'il vous plaît, pour la photo TF261, merci beaucoup.
On demande Karen.
Donc, du coup, je pose encore des questions. Je pose encore. Sinon, c'était du blabla. Ah oui, parce que là, j'en peux.
La brillante Karen, s'il vous plaît.
Regardez vos SMS.
Non, mais il y a la photo, il faut venir. Non, il faut venir. Tu peux laisser là-bas le sac, laisse là-bas, il n'y a personne. Non, non, laisse ça là-bas. Non, Julien. Ah, on vient, ok, viens.
Allô, allô.
Alors là, maman, t'as vu notre MC improvisé? Ça balance, hein. Ça méritait la photo de tout à l'heure.
Ah bah, ouais, prends-en plusieurs. C'est bon? Merci. Tu en as pris plusieurs? Non, mais je vais en faire une pour toi. Parce que regarde, je crois, hein, toi on voit un petit bout de ça, on voit un petit bout de ça. On voit pas trop ça. Vas-y, je vais te le prendre comme ça, je vais la cadrer.
Et en fait, il faut qu'il y ait les trucs là. Ouais. C'est avec mes lunettes. Allez, fais-moi voir.